Hello everybody, I'm home. We're going to jump right into this today and we're going to unbox some more goodies for Christmas. The last time we only unboxed one at a time. This time we're going to go maybe 2 or 3 boxes because I've got so much stuff to show you guys. So the first thing I took out of the closet was this Shiny Bright box. It came from Kmart, probably in the 80s. I thrifted it. It's not real old, but it's kind of cool. And this is a tin that I purchased after Christmas last year at like 75% off. And I kind of thought I knew what was in this box, but when I opened it, I was surprised to see it was just a bunch of little things I'd made years ago. I made so many ornaments years ago, and the little spoons, the little embroidery pieces, the candy canes. Oh my gosh, you guys can do this. You just take white and red Chanel stems, like pipe cleaners, twist them, shape them like a candy cane, and then stain them. I just dip them with a little bit of brown watered down paint, or you can use stain. There's one at the bottom that's not been done. And then spoons are very easy to do. Even the kids can do these. Just take a spoon that you can bend over, and you can take that little hook that you bent and hang it right on the branch and just paint a simple little design. And then I antique mine. And then, of course, the little tiny frames. I look for those when I'm at the thrift store. And I found this little tiny one, and I put a little picture from a wrapping paper. And don't forget your frames. Be on the lookout for them. And gosh, these are kind of pitiful, but I made these like 20 years ago, back when I couldn't afford ornaments. I made my own. And I made this one. I'll tell you what, it's made on a piece of the cardboard that comes on the back of a tablet. I cut them in rectangle shapes, and I painted primitive scenes on them. And they're kind of sad. The little vines I made were kind of pitiful, but I've had them forever, and I'm never going to get rid of them. And it kind of led me to still make them. Even though I can buy an ornament now, I still make them. This is a little tiny old-fashioned cookie cutter that I thought was awful cute. It hangs on my kitchen tree. Then I made these one time. I made about 50 of them. Little Santa hats out of fabric, and I stuffed them with something. I don't know what. And then these are just cardboard and balsa wood with Christmas cards glued to them and a little twine top. And I love them. I open the box every year, and I can't believe what's inside. I forget. This is a little 2-inch Christmas book that I bought at the Covered Bridge last year because I have that book from when I was little. And this is the second box that we're going to open. Oh my gosh, I bought these boxes at thrift stores and after Christmas, and they're just really nice hard boxes. And I opened this one, and this is what was inside. It's a little gold and kind of rust-colored nature tree I put up in my kitchen, and my little framed birds and my pine cones, and everything's kind of gold and copper. I got all of these at the thrift store for like $1, and they're big, heavy glass birds. They're just beautiful. But I'm thinking I'm not going to put that tree up this year. I dropped my phone. I think I'm not going to put it up this year. So I don't know what I'll do with these. I may donate them back to the thrift store. There's a new thrift store nearby that needs stuff. And then I found these at the thrift store. They are candle rings, but they're not glass. They're not plastic. I found out that they're called lucite. And they are just beautiful. They're from the 60s, and I washed them all up, and I use them every year. I just love them. And then one time, Dollar Tree had, it's been 15 years ago, they had these glass paperweights that you could buy for $1 and add your own image to them. And this is an Easter one, and I must have made 50 of those crazy things. I sold them and gave them away. And there's some candle holders and things that were in there. Now this big box, this is a big, deep box. It's probably about 12 inches deep. I kind of knew what was inside of this box. All my little Santas. I have over 100 Santas. I don't know how many I have, but this one was 3 layers deep with little 5 to 6 inch Santas. And gosh darn it, I just love them. I'll keep buying these things till the day I die. My girlfriend, Sherry Beardsley, she made this one for me. She's made me several, but he's made out of wax, and he's all antiqued up with cinnamon. And she gave me this one. It's a blue chalkware Santa. And I just love all their little faces. They all have different expressions. They're all holding different things. And of course, they didn't look like this when I got them. I antiqued them, with the stain and the watered down brown paint. You can't mess it up if you do that, you guys. You just can't. It just riches them up a little bit and makes them look a little bit more high end. I love them. I just this one made his way onto the kitchen windowsill already, and he's a cute little guy. And I just love him. I set him all over. I put him in the bathroom, and you can just set a Santa anywhere. And then this is from Mary's store uptown, the Rusty Horse Warehouse. If you didn't see that video, go back and look at the tour of my friend's shop. She's got beautiful stuff. And this is a little wood cutting board I made for my kitchen Christmas tree a few years ago. And then, of course, my imitation salt glazed ornaments that I made. Gosh, I made so many of these, and I only have about 6 of them of my own. I'm going to have to make some more because I sell them and I give them away, and then I end up with just a few. And this one's kind of dark, but I love him. Now, I'll tell you about the rummage sale that I got a bunch of free stuff at in a little bit, but this is one of the items. It's a silver tray out of an old refrigerator, and I got it for free. And the girl said, "What are you going to do with that?" And I said, "I'm going to put Santa on it." And I did. And then my prim pears, I started making these prim pears, and I'm absolutely in love with them. This one, you can kind of see my man's chapel picture in the back. I make them, I sew them, I paint them, I antique them. I love them. And then these are some Belschnickel Santas that I'm cutting out to paint. I'm kind of penciling in their face and hoping they don't look like Sasquatch when I get it all done. I'll go in and paint it and antique it, and I thought this was neat. This board happened to have a crack right up the middle where his boots were, so it's going to look like I cut it that way, and I really didn't. And this is my trusty old saw I've used for everything I've ever made. Now, this next thing coming up is exciting. A few years ago, I was in an antique store, and I saw an old primitive sleigh and one reindeer pulling Santa. And it was the most beautiful old primitive thing. It looked like somebody had just thrown it together with old wood. So yesterday, I found some old wood out in my garage, just yucky old wood. And yesterday, I decided today's the day, and I started putting it together. I didn't know what I was doing, guys. I had no clue. And I was going by memory. Couldn't really remember what the sleigh looked like. But I started putting the wood together, and it's all crappy wood. And I found one reindeer at Hobby Lobby last year after Christmas for like $4, and he's a pretty good sized deer, and I'm going to put him in front. And I glued this thing, I screwed it, I nailed it, I just slammed it together. It's just, the one I saw was pretty much like this, I'm sure, but I kind of made this up as I went. Here I am looking for a piece of wood for the seat, and I found a blackboard out in our garage. So I put it in there, and it fit perfectly. So I nailed it in, and it's just big enough for Santa to sit on. And then this is a board I laid on the bottom of it to see if it would cover the whole bottom, and it didn't. But in the little gap on the side, I ended up putting some skinnier boards, and I thought I would replace them with another board. But after I stained it and got it all done, it looked fine. So I think I'm just going to leave it. I don't think Santa will mind. I put it on my farm table on my front porch, and I'll put the reindeer in front of it, and I'll get my Santa and some packages in it, and I think it's going to be really cool. As you can see, the wood is just haphazard. I mean, it's thrown together, odds and end pieces. Rough. Look at that. There's big chunks out of it. I don't even know what this wood was for. It was piled up outside. And then I put it all together. Now the runners are not on the bottom of it yet because I've got to get some smaller screws to attach the runners. But there's a little crack in Santa's seat. And I just love the way this wood in the back had some wood missing off of it, and it didn't stain up like the rest, and it just looks like it's been around a while, and that's what I was aiming for. So I can't wait to get the reindeer on it. So I'm at this rummage sale the other day. I pull up to this sale, and they only had 3 card tables, and this kid came out and he said, "Everything at this sale is free." I said, "Why is it free?" He said, "We had an estate sale for 2 days and hardly anybody came. We didn't sell very much. Mom wants it gone." So he said, "We're taking it to Goodwill, so take it all." Well, there wasn't a lot of good stuff, but there was this little doll bed, and you know how I like my doll beds. And it was cute. It was a little 4-poster bed, and I came home with it, and I made a little mattress out of ticking and a little pillow, and the ticking was also known as a thrifted man's shirt. And after I got that done, I laid a sheet across it. I made a pillowcase, but I laid a sheet across it, and then a pretty doily that I actually got at that same sale for free. I got a bunch of doilies for free, and I'm going to make a prettier underneath blanket for it later, but I just think it's so cute, and I'm going to paint the bed. I had to re-glue a few pieces of it, but I'm going to repaint it, and I think it's going to be pretty. Remember my 99-cent heavy gold frame, 5x7 frame I got at the thrift store and put in my bedroom? Well, look what I found at Joann Fabrics the other day for $19.99, and it's only a 4x6, but it's heavy, and mine's prettier. And then I looked around at Joann's. I hadn't been in there in a long time, and I was looking at their fabric, and they had some really pretty fabric, and I was thinking of all kinds of things I could make. But I thrift most of my fabric, so I didn't buy any. But I was kind of tickled to see that they still have those big drawers full of patterns. I used to love to go in there and get a pattern for a new blouse or a scarf or something, and I never ended up making anything that I bought the patterns for, but I make my own patterns now. But I thought it was neat that they still had those. I had no idea, and I got a lot of ideas when I was in there. And then I was thrifting one day at Goodwill, and for 99 cents I got this rhinestone belt from the 70s, like we used to wear when we were all groovy and skinny. And of course it doesn't fit me, and it's got a few rhinestones missing, but it is super sparkly. So I draped it over my beauty shop Christmas tree, my old Hollywood tree, and it looks really pretty. And that tree is almost done. I mean, it is done. I have a few more things I want to put on it, and then I'm going to give you a tour of all my trees. So if you guys are liking my videos, please stay tuned, because I'm going to give you a tour of all my trees. But we still have some more boxes to open. I'm missing some things, and I know they're in those boxes, so I want you to come along with me and open them up and see what all's in there. And please follow me on Instagram at MarcyJoe631. And if you like my video, please like and subscribe. My channel's growing, and I really need your support. Thank you so much.